Shalom, let's give all praises to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, and it belongs to the apostles and elders of GMS that taught us this word. I just want to talk about how, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper, in these last days. If you're part of the Most High's elect, the Lord's going to protect you. Nothing that, Esau can throw at you is going to prosper. Whether it be those nuclear missiles or whether concentration camp or super soldiers or whatever, any type of weapons, guns, the Lord's going to give you that power to protect yourself, or He's going to send an angel like He did with King David. But yeah, you believe in the Lord, and you believe on His name and call on His name, the Lord will protect you and guide you in these last days, man. The first scripture is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. I've created the waster to destroy. Yeah, He created these missiles, man. He set up these scientists and these engineers to develop this nuclear technology that He's going to use. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. And this is the heritage of the saints of the Lord, for their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Yeah, that weapon is not going to form against you, man. That iron weapon, because you're part of the Lord's elect, it's slated to be delivered. You're going to be delivered from that, from that destruction, from that lake of fire. And that weapon is not going to prosper against you. And whatever else Esau has cooked up, in these end days, you can read the book of Daniel, and with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and what happened with them in their account. Their Hebrew names was Ananias, Azarias, and Mishael. But they were put into a burning furnace for not, worshiping, the king's imagery, his gods. So you got to have that same type of faith, this is Daniel 3:14. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, Is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? Do not ye serve my gods, nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now if ye be ready, that at that time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, a psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye shall be cast the same hour into the midst of the burning fiery furnace. And who is the God or the power that shall deliver you out of my hands? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our power, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and He will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. And that's exactly what the Lord did. Jump down to verse 22. Therefore, because the king's commandment was urgent, and the furnace exceedingly hot, the flame of the fire slew the men that took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Yes, the men that tossed them into that furnace, they ended up getting burnt up, but not, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, because they had that faith, they kept the faith, and they didn't bow down and worship other gods. And these three men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, fell down, bound into the midst of the fiery furnace. Then Nebuchadnezzar the king was astonished, and rose up in haste, and spake and said unto his counselors, Did not we cast 3 men bound in the midst of the fire? They answered and said unto the king, True, king. And he answered and said, Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt. And the form of the 4th is like the Son of the Most High. Yeah, so they were delivered, man. That fiery weapon didn't prosper against them, man. because they kept that faith. The same thing with King David, you know. It says right here, the sorrows of death in Psalms 18:4, the sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid, because the sorrows of hell compassed about me, and the snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord, and he cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears. So when the enemies were surrounding, King David, what did he do? He cried upon the Lord. He asked Yahweh Shai for help, and that's exactly what the Lord did. He helped him. Then the earth shook and trembled, and the foundations also of the hills moved and were shaken because of his wrath. There went up smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode up upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters and thick clouds of the skies. So yeah, the Lord sent a chariot and delivered him, from his enemies. It's all about that name. You gotta have that true name, man. The scriptures, Psalms 91:14. Because he hath set his love upon me, therefore will I deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. That name's, we always say it. That name is very, very important, man. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. So whatever situation you go through, that's the first thing you need to do. Just call upon the name. Call upon Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. He said, I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. Yeah, that's a very important thing, man, to know that name, man. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, man. If you know that name, you call upon the Lord, you have that faith, you keep the faith and endure to the end, man. The last scripture is Leviticus 26:6. And this is also part of that. No weapons forming against you, man. Because the Lord's going to give some of his men that power. This is Leviticus 26:6. And I will give peace in the land, and ye shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. And I will rid evil beasts out of the land. Neither shall the sword go through their land. And that's what we're waiting on, man. That's what we're patiently waiting on, that day that we can go back to our land, and none shall make us afraid, man. And ye shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. And 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. That's what we're waiting on, man. Yeah, it says 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 shall put 10,000 to flight, man. That's power right there. And your enemy shall fall before you by the sword. So yeah, man, that's what we're looking forward to, man. The scripture said, be faithful unto death, and I'll give thee a crown of life. There's going to be some martyrs in this thing. But, the Lord, he said, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. Even if you are put to death, man, you're going to be the first on that chariot. But yeah, whatever situation you're in, always got to remember the name and call upon that name, because he has set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. And what did King David do? He said, in my distress I called upon the Lord, and cried unto my power. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears. Yeah. Scripture say, the prayers of the righteous cut through the clouds, man. But yeah, I just want to bring this out, no weapon formed against thee shall prosper. Coming to these times, man, these end times where you gotta, really have that faith about you, You just just endure to whatever measure of faith you were given, man. Just keep the word, man. Keep the truth in you. Endure to the end, man. And don't give up the faith. And with that, shalom.